The long-debated question of subliminal and backmashed messages in heavy metal music was finally put to the test in the American courts last year. CBS Records and the band Judas Priest were accused of causing the suicides of 2 young men through the use of subliminal messages. One of the boys lived long enough to tell others that the music of Judas Priest had made him do it. James Vance and Ray Belknap's friendship seemed based on their similar lifestyles. Both had problems with school and work, and both used drugs. 2 days before Christmas in 1985, Ray gave James an early Christmas present, the Judas Priest album Stained Class. Locked in Belknap's bedroom, the 2 teenagers played the album over and over again.
They began listening to the music repeatedly. They had some favorite songs. They began to sing along with some of the lyrics in the music, which emphasized suicide as a valid alternative to life's problems.
They knew they were going to go shoot themselves. They looked at each other, and he said, "Let's see what's next, and let's do it."
After several hours, the 2 began destroying the bedroom. And when Ray's mother started pounding on the door, Ray grabbed his sawn-off shotgun and jumped out the bedroom window. James followed. They ran down the street and a few minutes later found themselves in the playground of a churchyard. Ray stood on the merry-go-round and wedged the muzzle of the gun under his chin.
Ray shot himself first, and James tells of hearing Ray's body bump on the ground. He had second thoughts that he had things to live for, but he felt compelled to pull the trigger. And he began chanting, "Do it, do it, do it," and he did it. And he pulled the trigger.
To the best of your knowledge today, what is the cause of James shooting himself?
I would say it was him listening to the Judas Priest heavy metal music.
We've never put subliminal messages on any album, and this album in question was 14 years old. We couldn't even afford our lunch when we did this album, so I mean, we couldn't afford the sophisticated equipment that they say we needed to put this. The way they said that we put these messages on the album was, even today's, the technology you would need to use, it's impossible.
All right, court is now in session.
The case against Judas Priest rested on proving that the words "do it" were hidden in the track "Better by You, Better Than Me," and that they were placed there with the specific intent of suggesting suicide to the listener. Using sophisticated technology, audio experts isolated and analysed the words "do it." The result was played to the court.
I heard absolutely nothing. I have excellent hearing.
I heard "do it" after, but the second time it was played through.
I heard something that I could...
You couldn't make it out?
Not if I hadn't been told before what it was supposed to say.
In court, lead singer Rob Halford claimed that the "do it" sound heard by the prosecution was a breathing technique he uses to personalise his songs. This involves a heavy breath at the end of each phrase. He was called upon to demonstrate this to the judge.
I think I get the right key. It goes...
Better than you, better than me. You can say what I can see.
CBS Records brought in their own experts to explain Halford's singing technique.
It's hard to describe them. I would describe them as expressive grunts which happen in between the vocal lines. It's all part of Rob's performance of the song as a lead vocalist.
Is that an unusual thing for a singer to do?
No, not at all. Elvis Presley made a career out of it.
If it had been created by somebody who had the ability to create something in order to do something to somebody or have an effect on somebody, it surely would have had an effect on many more people.
They'd have been dropping like flies all around the world.
From that point to this, and as somebody said, you know, if we're going to put the subliminal content on there, even if we had the ability to do so in 1978, we would have just said, hey, you know, buy more records or something like that.
Judas Priest were also accused of putting backward messages on the track Beyond the Realms of Death. The song was computer analysed and played backwards by the prosecution. They claimed that the message, "Try suicide," was revealed.
They could hear the words, "Try suicide," which sounded like, oh, no. That was about as close as they could get. So myself and Ken went into a studio with stained glass album, and we played side one backwards at normal speed, unedited. Within 30 seconds, we found "Hey Ma, my chair's broken." We found "It's so fishy, personally I'll own it." We found other messages, didn't we?
I asked her to get me a peppermint. I asked her to get one.
To get one.
There's stuff to do with love. But we didn't find any to do with suicide or devilish things.
So what we'll hear first is I asked for a peppermint, I asked for her to get one.
Halford's demonstration of the flute messages proved to be the final straw. The prosecution's case collapsed. The judge ruled that Judas Priest were not to blame for the suicides of James Vance and Ray Belknap. He said that he did hear the hidden messages, such as "Do It" on the record, but he also ruled it was a chance combination of sounds and not an intentional subliminal command.
Did it ever cross your mind that you might be in any way, however small, responsible for their deaths?
Not one way whatsoever. I never spoke to their parents at all. The reason is I have no sympathy for their parents. They were responsible for the way their children had grown up. And I think that if you've got a problem and a tragedy occurs like that, you've got to look a little bit closer to home and not try and pin the problem on music. You might be pin it on the social structure of America and the way that you know, the kids have been brought up, but not try and pin it on music.